Good evening, everybody. This is the November 1st, 2022 meeting of the Monroe Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Jim Wendt. I'm the chairman of the board. I will let the other members introduce themselves. Well, why don't we just have everybody introduce themselves for the roll call for the recording, starting with Ben, and then we'll go around the horn.
Ben Maney, board member.
Good evening, I'm Ron, board member.
Christina McPhail, board member.
Rick Schultz, town planner.
Sarah Stroud, recording secretary.
Tim Hool, engineer from BL Companies.
And Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC.
Okay, Mr. Schultz, can you please read the notice of public hearing and then we'll get rolling.
Zoning Board of Appeals, regular meeting, Monroe, Connecticut. Notice of public hearing to be held November 1st, 2022. In accordance with Connecticut General Statutes 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via fully remote Zoom meeting. Concerning the following: ZBA 2022-05 file 1413375 Spring Hill Road, aka 143 Purdy Hill Road. Application for a variance of 6.1.15 and 6.2.4A2 to reduce the minimum front setback landscape buffer from 20 feet to 10 feet along Purdy Hill Road. Stephanie LLC owner, BL Companies Inc. representative, and said publication was published twice in the Voices, Wednesday, October 19th and Wednesday, October 26th, 2022. And Mr. Chairman, we have received the notices. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Just before we open the file, as everyone I think knows, we need 4 affirmative votes to approve a variance. Since there's only 4 of us, that's going to require a unanimous vote this evening. If after discussion, if it looks like it's not going to be unanimous one way or the other, then we'll hold off until we can get a 5th member to become familiar with the record. But with that said, we'll open file 1413. Mr. Russo, are you going to make the presentation, or is Mr. Hole?
Yes, Chair, I'll start. And Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasco Hill Road in Fairfield. Here on behalf of the applicant with Tim Hool from BL Companies, who's been working on this project with us. If I could share the screen, I'll pull up our. Rick, I think you need to enable me to share the screen. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think I got it now. Okay. So, Chairman, members of the board, good to be here before you tonight for this property at 375 Spring Hill Road, which is also known as 143 Purdy Hill Road, for this variance regarding a front landscape buffer. The requirement in the LOR district where this property is located is for a 20-foot front yard landscape buffer. We are requesting a 10-foot buffer. I'm sure you've all driven by this property thousands of times, but just to call it out, this property is located at the corner of 111 and Purdy Hill Road. It's unique in that it also has Spring Hill Road, which you can see here, that comes into it at an angle that makes for an odd lot shape, one that has presented challenges. I'm sure the engineers feel the same way about it, and it has pros some challenges, but luckily BL, they've done a great job in designing this in a compliant manner, this proposal. And the proposal is to construct a 5,326 square foot single story building with a drive-through facility. You can see the building here in the drive-through along its rear and coming up along the side here. That's a mobile order drive-through. So a little bit different than your normal drive-through where you actually go up and go to an order menuing board and place your order there. This is a mobile order drive-through, which just means that you use the app for the user. In this case, it's anticipated to be a Chipotle, where you order your food through the app, and then it tells you, it's going to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you plan accordingly to come here through the drive-through to pick up your mobile order, which has become a very popular way of utilizing something like Chipotle. So the proposal for this building is for 3 tenant spaces. The Chipotle in the middle of Jersey Mike's, which is another popular chain, and then a third retail store, which a client is intending for a mobile phone company, but it could be it's really open for any type of retail user. The rest of the improvements on the property is a parking area with 58 parking spaces, which is compliant under the regulations, as well as landscaping and all the stormwater, lighting, all the things in accordance with your regulations. So BL, working with the site, actually designed a fully compliant plan. So why are we bothering you here on a Tuesday night? So a study was conducted for Route 111 and was sponsored by the local council of governments, and it had a number of recommendations. One of its recommendations is for an additional lane to be added on Purdy Hill Road. I could zoom in here. So as you know, and you can see here, Purdy Hill Road currently has, as you are heading towards 111, it has a left turn only to head northbound on 111, and it has another lane for going straight or taking a right onto 111. What the study recommended in the future to the town of Monroe is that a lane be added here that would shift the right turn and straight lane over south. And these 2 lanes that are currently existing would turn into 2 left turn only lanes. The issue with that is that it would require a taking of this property to widen the lane, to be able to create 3 lanes. So we've come forward with this application for this project, and talking with Rick, and talking with the town engineer, and even the first selectman I know has been interested in this future expansion of this lane to help traffic in the area. We've been talking with them, and rather than the town have to do a taking somewhere down the line where perhaps they move on this recommendation or fulfill this recommendation and expanding, having to do a taking and therefore having to pay for that taking to the property owner, our client has agreed to sell this portion that is needed for the future possible expansion of Purdy Hill Road to the town of Monroe. And if the town of Monroe decides to, move on this recommendation in the future, they will already have this property. They will have what they need to accomplish that. It'll be in their control. The issue in terms of the regulation is that it reduces the front landscape buffer along Purdy Hill Road. And you could see in the submitted site plan, I'll zoom in so you can see it better, but you can see our property line as it currently stands in the black that runs closer to Purdy Hill Road. The proposed modified property line would be in the red. And this would be the portion of the property that we would deed over to the town of Monroe. And that's where the additional lane would be located. So that reduces the landscape buffer. In anticipation of that, we have proposed extensive landscaping that would fit within our new property line. And you can see it here on this submitted plan that really runs from our parking area, where our parking area begins along Purdy Hill Road, all the way to, towards 111. So except for the break for the driveway, and would be again within the area that still remains on our property. Now, for the time being, should this approval be granted and our application to P&Z be approved, it will remain as it is now, which is landscaping, is green space. But granting this variance allows the town to move forward in the future with this recommendation that it received from the 111 corridor study. And so that's really it. It's fairly straightforward. Taking is generally one of the classic bases for granting a variance. This is a bit modified from that. It's kind of a cooperating rather than a taking, because we're not forcing the town to go to that step, to have to take the property and pay the property owner for the land that it's taking. We're working with the town. Town is and Rick have been great to deal with on this project, and our clients agreeing to let the town forego that step, or should you approve, agree to let the town forego that step and just deeding them this land so they can do it. We think it's in line with your plan of conservation and development. Certainly, this is aiding in an improvement to a very important intersection, very important corridor to the town of Monroe. It won't have any negative impact on the surrounding area. If anything, it's going to benefit Monroe and its residents in allowing it to improve its traffic pattern in the future. And it's really just due to this kind of unique situation where we have a property that's got 3 street frontages, all at pretty odd angles. And, we've been able to design the development in a compliant way, but being located at one of the most important intersections in Monroe, there's this need to, in the future, in order to improve, to expand this Purdy Hill Road, and we're looking to aid in that by getting this variance approved, hopefully, and deeding this land to the town. So happy to answer any questions. Tim is here if you have specifics with regards to the engineering and the design, but fairly straightforward in trying to see what we could do to help the town and help the traffic in this area for hopefully a future expansion of Purdy Hill Road in the future.
Thank you. While this screen is still up, are all of those landscaping improvements, including what appears to be, is that a wall at the corner there? All of those improvements are going to be within your client's property after the road widening strip is conveyed?
The landscaping will be the wall. Tim, maybe you the wall might have to, I think the wall might have to be slightly adjusted.
Yes, so the wall as shown on this plan on the screen now has since been revised, and it was submitted to planning and zoning for their last meeting. What was that, the 20th, I believe. We pulled the wall, so it is 3 feet off of the back of curb. So that wall will be entirely on this lot after the, if the taking or the land is deeded to the town.
Okay. And secondly, is I'm presuming the conveyance to the town is for, as I understood you, a future, to allow the future implementation of that recommendation. It's not proposed as part of this project to do that widening now. It's just to facilitate its future construction without going through a takings process. So you're looking to cross that bridge now so we don't undo work that you guys might be doing on your private property. Is that fair?
Yes, and really it's going to be up to the town. I mean, the town will have to be they can decide to move forward with it, or they can decide to abandon that recommendation, but it'll be entirely within the town's hands.
But fine. I don't have any further questions. Do any members of the board have any questions?
This is Ben. I have a couple of questions. So is the town agreement pending our vote, or has that been agreed to or not agreed to? So I'm a little confused about the sale to the town. Is there an agreement in place, or is that pending our vote tonight?
It'll be part, so we're going to, the second step of this is we're going to planning and zoning, and we're going on Thursday to P&Z. And Rick, I know you drafted the approval, but I think is it going to be a condition of the approval?
That is correct. The commission will impose that as a condition.
So the condition of the approval will state that we must convey this piece to the town of Monroe. And then once we move forward, we'll have to prepare a deed to convey it to the town.
So does this property currently meet the 20-foot frontage if it wasn't for this conveyance?
Yes.
So you have enough space currently to do the rendering, but because of this potential widening of the road, you need this variance to be reduced to 10 feet instead of 20.
Correct. It's kind of like a help us help you kind of thing.
Right. So you currently meet the 20-foot frontage, but if this road is widened, then you don't, and you need this 10-foot variance. That's kind of what you're telling me.
Yes.
The intent would be to have a conforming piece of property after the road is widened, whenever that happens. Okay, I do have one question. Between now and such time as the third lane may be added, what is your intended landscaping in the front between Purdy Hill and the parking area?
Well, so on our, what will then be our land, because right, I mean, we won't own it anymore. That at least this area, basically from where you see the landscaping that we're proposing to Purdy Hill Road, we won't own anymore. It'll be the town's property. So, but in this area that we will still own, this is the landscaping that we are proposing. Tim, do we have the details about, I'm sure it's down here in the corner, about what this landscaping is in that area?
Yeah, so there is a plant schedule down on the bottom, but generally speaking, there's a row of shrubs across the majority of the front of the parking lot. I want to say it's somewhere around 30, it might be a little bit more. They are evergreen shrubs, and it's kind of meant to help screen the appearance of a parking lot from the street, while also helping to soften the appearance of the development. There's some shade trees scattered about. There, 4 of those through the frontage, and then on the corner, through the request of the town staff during our pre-application meeting back in the summer, they requested a decorative stone wall to continue the classic New England appearance of this area with all the stone walls around. And then we added a bunch of lower flowering perennials and smaller perennials there to provide a little bit more visual interest on the corner. All of that will remain on the lot after the deeding of this extra property to the town.
Got it. You answered the question in much more depth. The responsible for maintaining that you deed to it. Very approved.
Ron, I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit on that question, so I think it would be beneficial if you just repeated it.
Okay, hold on. Is that better?
Better.
Okay, my fault for being too far away. Basically, you answered the question. Once the deeding is completed, the town will be responsible for maintaining the portion of the buffer between the existing 2 lanes and the new property line.
Correct. Yeah, that would be the town's responsibility.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
As far as the wall, that's just lining the corner, or does it go along the Purdy Hill entrance except for the driveway? And does it wrap around to the main road there when you turn right? Or is it just the corner of the road between Purdy Hill and the main road? 111.
It is on the corner. It's a total of about 100 feet. So there's, I'll say about a third of it is on the Purdy Hill frontage, a third is on 111, and then that middle section is kind of where the 2 meet.
Okay.
But we didn't want to run the whole length. We're trying to be mindful of site distances and safety considerations.
They just look really good in my opinion. So a nice wall would have looked nice there, but yeah, I see what you're saying. And that's the parking lot. Those are the spaces there along the outside rim. So I get that.
Anything else? Anything else from the applicant? Mr. Russo, you can stop screen sharing now. I think we're at, I've got hard copy in front of me anyway, but I think we get the picture there. So, okay, I don't see any other questions from the board. Last shot. Rick, is there anybody on that I don't see that's dialed in by phone or otherwise attending that I need to ask if they wish to participate? I'll ask anyway. Is there any member of the public, seen or unseen, that wishes to participate in this hearing? I don't see any. I don't know if you have.
No, there is none, Mr.
There's
Chairman.
nobody on the phone. Okay, seeing no other participants, we will close the public hearing. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, everyone.
I almost closed the meeting. Wow, that was close. One click away. Okay, so the public hearing is closed. We don't have any minutes. We will pen those after. We will go after deliberating this, do the meeting schedule, so don't worry. So with respect to this application, is there any member that wishes to make a motion on this matter?
I move that the application be accepted as presented.
Okay, move to approve by Ron. Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Thank you, Ben. All right, so the motion is to approve. Any further comment or discussion, Ron, on your motion?
Not for me.
Ben?
Nope.
Christina?
No,
No, I'm willing to support this as well. I think this makes perfect sense. It's looking to help implement a plan recommendation, and in the absence of that, they would otherwise comply. So to me, this is a perfect fit for relief from the regulation. So I as well would support it. So without any further discussion, if there is none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
I,
That is 4-0. There are no other members, so that is approved 4-0.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck implementing this plan. We look forward to the nice improvement on the corner there.
Yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.